Before we begin, viewer discretion is strongly advised. What follows is the courtroom testimony from the federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, as reported by various news outlets. All events and statements are for entertainment and educational purposes only. Day 21. The room had heard from Cassie, Cat Williams, and even 50 Cent, but when the clerk called the name Aubrey Drake Graham, the tension didn't build. It landed. Drake walked in without a sound. No entourage, no emotion. He took the stand with the same control he'd mastered over sold-out arenas, but there was no performance in him now. He was sworn in, sat down, and kept his hands folded on the table. The prosecutor began without delay. "Mr. Graham, we are asking you to speak specifically about an incident involving yourself and Mr. Combs that took place in 2014. Can you tell us where this occurred?" Drake nodded. "LIV Nightclub, Miami, December 2014. It was during Art Basel Week. And what brought you there that night?" "Just social. I wasn't scheduled to perform. I was with a few people from my team. Security, management, standard club night." "Was Mr. Combs present when you arrived?" "I didn't know he was at the club until later in the night. It was past 2 a.m. when he approached me." "Can you describe how he approached you?" Drake's expression tightened slightly. He came straight to the table. No smile, no handshake. Just walked up and said, "We need to talk." I got up. I stepped down from the booth to meet him on the floor. "Did you know what he wanted to talk about?" I had a guess. There'd been industry noise about the 0 to 100 beat, but no one had brought it to me directly. Until that night. "What did he say?" "He said, 'That beat was mine.' I told him I didn't take anything from him, that the track came to me from a producer. We cut it, and it became what it became. I told him he should have reached out earlier if he had a problem." "And how did he respond?" "He looked at me and said, 'You knew what the fuck you were doing?' Then he swung." "He what?" "He punched me. Right side of my face. Clean hit. Nothing wild or sloppy. It was personal. It was deliberate." "What did you do?" "Nothing. I stumbled back. My security moved. His team moved. It almost turned into something bigger, but it didn't. I didn't hit him back." "Were you injured?" "Yeah. Jaw was swollen. I couldn't eat properly for 2 days. We had to push back studio time." "Did you press charges?" Number Y didn't want it to become a bigger story than it already was. "Was there any resolution between you and Mr. Combs after the incident?" Number Not directly. There were messages through mutual people, but no apology, no conversation, just silence. He sat still, not angry, just tired of pretending it hadn't happened. That moment was about sending a message. He wasn't trying to fight me. He was trying to check me. Drake's voice stayed steady, but it wasn't cold. There was no anger in his tone, just the weight of someone recounting something he'd never said in full until now. He wasn't trying to fight me. He wanted to embarrass me. The prosecutor asked, "Why do you think that?" Drake didn't hesitate. "Because it wasn't in a hallway. It wasn't behind closed doors. It was in the middle of the club. Loud music, bottles popping, everyone watching." He continued. "He waited until the lights hit just right, until the cameras were on us, and then he swung." "So you believe this was premeditated?" "Yes, 100%. That wasn't anger. That was strategy." The gallery was silent. The jurors locked in. The prosecutor continued carefully. "Did anyone from the club try to intervene?" "Security separated us. My team made sure it didn't escalate, but nobody removed him. Nobody pulled him out. It was like he was untouchable." "And how did you feel in that moment?" Drake's pause wasn't for effect. "I felt small, and I don't say that lightly. I was the #1 artist in the country. I had 3 songs in the top 10 that week, but in that room, In that moment, I was just a target. He tapped the table lightly. He wanted to remind me who built the stage. Did you speak about it afterward? Not really. Industry people knew. People were joking about it within days. Drake got slapped by Puff. I didn't say anything because I knew how it would go. I'd be painted as soft if I told the truth, or as a liar if I tried to defend myself. He looked at the jury now. And that's the part people don't get. When someone like him hits you, he's not trying to hurt you physically. He's trying to make you afraid to speak. Drake's voice was lower now, not tired, but more careful. There's this thing in our world where people pretend like these things don't happen. If you're famous enough, rich enough, nobody wants to be the one who says, "That was wrong." The prosecutor asked, "Did anyone in your circle encourage you to speak publicly after the incident?" The opposite. He looked at the prosecution table. I had people telling me to let it go, that it wasn't worth it, that Puff was just being Puff, that I shouldn't make noise over one punch. He paused. But it wasn't just one punch. It was who threw it. It was where he threw it. And it was what that punch represented. What did it represent to you? It meant that no matter how successful I was, no matter how far I'd come, there were still people in this industry who thought they had the right to put their hands on me just to make a point. And what was that point? That I didn't belong unless I bowed down. That being the biggest artist in the world didn't matter unless I acknowledged the people who built the system. He leaned in now, arms on the table. That's what that night was about. Not a song, not a beat. It was about ego, control, dominance. What was the aftermath of the incident? In the short term, people laughed. A few articles popped up, vaguely mentioning it, but no real fallout, no consequences. Not for him. He shook his head once. But for me? It was the first time I realized how fast the industry will turn away when it's you who gets hurt. People made jokes, moved on, but it stuck with me. Not because of the pain, but because of the silence. What do you mean by that? Nobody in the room that night said, "That was wrong." Not publicly, not privately, they just watched. And you believe that silence was intentional? Yes, because if he could do it to me and get away with it, then everyone else would fall in line. The prosecutor paused for a moment, letting Drake's last statement land before continuing. Mr. Graham, to your knowledge, was there ever any accountability on Mr. Combs' part for the incident at LIV? None. No apology, no phone call, no acknowledgement. At least, not to me. He looked down for a moment. There were rumors that he tried to spin it like it wasn't a big deal. Said I disrespected him, that I crossed some line. But the truth is, I wasn't even thinking about him that night. I wasn't trying to make a statement. I was just out. Did you ever feel unsafe after that night? Not physically. I have a strong team around me. But mentally? Yeah, I felt cornered. How so? Because in this business, the people you're supposed to look up to, they're often the ones who'll hurt you if you don't play along. Drake leaned back slightly, adjusting his seat. After that hit, people stopped saying anything negative about him around me. Not out of respect, out of fear. You could feel it. If you challenged him, even in conversation, it made people uncomfortable. He continued, slowly now. That's what made the moment so sharp for me. Not the punch, not the crowd, but the reaction. What do you mean? Nobody pulled him aside. Nobody checked in after. The industry shrugged, like, well, that's Puff. He does what he wants. And what did that teach you? Drake's voice dropped a little. That being right doesn't matter if the room is owned by the wrong people. He looked at the jury. This man hit me, in public, with intent. And the only thing people wanted to know the next day was whether I was gonna diss him in a song. That's what we've built. That's what we've normalized. Do you carry that with you? Every day. It taught me who to trust. It taught me how fast people will rewrite reality to keep someone in power. Drake rested his hands on the witness table. He didn't glance at the cameras. He didn't look toward the gallery. His eyes stayed on the jury. I'm not here because I need sympathy. I'm here because the truth finally matters, because it's no longer just about me. The prosecutor asked, "Why did you choose not to speak publicly about this before?" Drake inhaled once, slowly. "Because I knew the story wouldn't be mine to tell. It would get twisted. People would say I was soft, or that I deserved it, or worse, that I was lying." He looked across the courtroom toward Diddy. "But I wasn't lying, and I didn't deserve it." "And today, what made you decide to testify?" "Because I've watched this man dodge accountability for years, not just for what he did to me, but for what he did to people without the platform I have." "Do you believe your silence enabled that behavior to continue?" He nodded. "Yeah, I do." He adjusted the mic one last time. "I stayed quiet because I thought it would protect my career. And maybe it did, but looking back, it protected him more." The room remained frozen as the prosecutor gave him one final question. "If you could say one thing to the jury, what would it be?" Drake looked at them, each one, before speaking. "What happened to me wasn't isolated. It wasn't a mistake. It was part of a pattern, a mindset, where power excuses everything." He stood slowly. "That punch was a warning, not just to me, but to anybody who might think about stepping outside the rules. I didn't hit back that night, but I'm speaking now." He nodded once, calm, measured. "Thank you." Then he left the stand. And for a moment, just a moment, nobody moved.